Okay, so I'm blinding myself at the moment. I'm wondering if I should... You know what, I'll leave it like this. Okay, I'm actually going to leave it like this. And what else? I can't see. I'm using this. I brought this upstairs tonight. I brought this upstairs a week ago, and tonight I thought I'll use it. It's just a blinding light, as I like blinding lights. Okay. I got summoned to jury. Midnight Charlie Patrick. I forgot to say hello. So I just did this before, and it's the 15th of January 2024, and it's 8:29 p.m. and I just did this before. Now there should be a number one, but I'm literally just filmed this. I just filmed this 7 minutes ago, and there should be a golden number one rule for me. Before I press record to film a video, make sure I've got no bloody chocolate on my lips. Number one rule, really, the number one rule. Now, plug this in. So I'm literally gonna say it all over again because it's fun to do that. I got summoned to jury duty. I got summoned to, I'm using this light, this nice blinding light. Okay, so about 6 weeks ago, I received a letter in the mail from the sheriff's office one day, and I thought, oh, that's jury duty. And I thought that's jury duty. I opened it up. It wasn't jury duty. It was a fine saying I had not attended jury duty, and it was for about $1,800. And I thought, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? And I had instant anxiety, and I called up the sheriff's office, and a woman answered the phone, told her the situation. She said, okay, this is a common thing. She said, you sure you didn't receive it? I said, look, I didn't receive any letter or anything. I didn't receive it because I said I would have attended to get dismissed, but I didn't receive anything in the mail. And so, which is the truth. And so she said, okay, look, this is common. It happens a lot. Just got to go to the Justice of the Peace. You've got to write out a statutory declaration, and you're going to go to Justice of the Peace. So I found Justice of the Peace, wrote out a stat deck, and sent it, took a picture of it, downloaded it, sent it via email back to the sheriff's office, and then 48 hours later I got dismissed and excused and didn't have to pay the fine. Which is, actually, I didn't actually say that in the last video, so it's probably good I'm doing a take two. And so now 3 days ago I checked my email and it said, you've got jury duty today. Like 3 days ago it said you've got jury duty in 4 days time, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, maybe some of you out there enjoy jury duty. It gives me anxiety. I don't like it. I don't like it. And so I thought, how am I going to get out of this? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to turn up in an Aussie t-shirt with actually I wore this bandana. And I wore my Aussie Bark at the Moon t-shirt, and I thought, that'll do the trick. I'll turn up and I'll be like, oh, okay, you're dismissed. And I had an idea, because what would happen back in the 1990s, I got summoned twice to jury duty, and you usually turn up, and there'd be 15 people there, a woman with a clipboard, well, 2 people there, one of them had a clipboard, and they'd say, all right, everyone's here, and they'd say, who doesn't want to do it? Who wants to? And so, if you turned up really raggedy looking, you'd get dismissed. And so I just a couple of times they said, why don't you want to do, I think they said to me once, why don't you want to do it? I said, oh, I have anxiety, and usually they're like, right, okay, great, you're good to go, tick, go. Well, haven't times changed? And so what happened was, I got into the city, I got the bus into the city I got to the city at 8:30 this morning. I got there a little earlier, got there at 8:30, and I went across, I saw 143 Downing, and there was a few people outside. The place hadn't opened up yet, and so I went for a walk. I went over to Hyde Park for a walk, and then at 8:50 I returned. And, well, right, I went in there, big security checks. You go through the big security checks, and they heaps of police. There must be about 30 or 40 police there. That's their standard thing. And then they had the officiates, the people who are sort of around, the people who are around. And no one blinked an eyelid at me. I felt deflated because I was meant to, take one look at me and they were like, oh. And they weren't. They were actually really nice to me. And so I got directed down the stairs into this other section, around the corner. The security woman, very nice to me. She said, saying good morning to everyone. I'm like, well, this is backfiring. I was sort of expecting a few, but nothing of the sort. And then this guy there, he was saying, well, get your documents out, your summons out. I didn't bring it with me, but I had it in my email. So I went into my Yahoo mail. Let's make sure I'm recording. I went into my Yahoo mail and got my thing in my inbox. Had my driver's license with me, and there must have been about 400 people there, and about 10 counters. A huge room, 10 counters with about 6 people in a queue at each counter. I got told to join a line, and everyone there was really conservatively dressed. I must have stuck out like a sore thumb. And everyone there was really conservatively dressed. And I joined the queue. Actually, while I was in the queue, like the guy behind the counter in this queue, the guy behind the counter, he said to one guy, "So are you ready to serve? Are you ready to serve on the duty on the jury? Are you ready to serve on the jury for 28 days and possibly longer?" And the guy was like, "Oh yes I am." He was like, "Yes I am. Oh, I'm ready." And I was like, "Okay." And the thing was, I had already pre-planned to get out of it. I was going to say, "Oh, I have anxiety, and also my spaceship is outside. It's hovering about 30 feet up. It's in cloak mode, so you can't see it. Only I can see it. And I'm going to do repairs to my spaceship because I'm actually not from Earth. I'm from another galaxy, and I'm going to fix my spaceship. And I'm going to go back to another galaxy." And then I thought they'd be like, "Okay then, alright, well you can go now, you're dismissed." And I didn't get to say that, because it was I just didn't get to say that, and by the time I got to the counter, and the girl in front of me, she got dismissed as well, because she didn't want to do it. She was a backpacker, younger than me, she didn't want to do it. And I thought, oh, how's this gonna go down? And he said to me, he said, "Oh, good morning." He said, "How are you today?" And I literally said, I'd rehearsed this in my head already. I said, "Pat, don't do the spaceship thing. Don't do the spaceship thing. That's not going to work." And so he said to me, I said to him, I would really love to not be here at the moment. I said, "I do not want to participate in any of this." And he went, "Oh, okay." Oh, he was about 10 years older than me. And he said, "Oh, okay." He said, "What, any reason?" I said, "I have anxiety, depression. I got all the things going on." And he interjected me and he said, "It's okay, no problem." He spent the next 2 minutes typing, about a minute and a half typing. He said, "Okay, you've been dismissed today. You're off the list. There's a chance that you'll get summoned again down the track. And if you do, you're just going to need to produce a document." I said, I go to my doctor and get a medical certificate. He said, "Yes." And then I said, "How do I get off this permanently?" He said, "You need a document." And he said, "You've been dismissed for a year, and there's a chance that after that time you might get summoned again." And so I had huge relief, but there was people there who wanted to do it. Quite a few people there who wanted to do it, who had their paper, because they didn't bring my documents. And many of them, they were all very conservatively dressed. All of them were very conservative. Didn't blink an eyelid at me, and all conservatively dressed. Some of them almost like churchgoers, others just business conservative, and kind of interesting. In fact, kind of interesting people there who actually did want to participate. And I remember the guy behind the counter, he said to one guy, "So, you ready to start today?" And the guy's like, "Sure am." And I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Get me the fuck out of here." And soon as the guy behind the counter, he said to me, he said, "Mate, you're free to go. You've been dismissed." I'm like, I said, "Really appreciate your time." He said, "No problem at all." I said, "I really appreciate your time," and I got the fuck out of there. And so that was my experience with jury duty. Done a lot different these days. Back in the 90s, they'd call upon 20 people at once. You'd go to a room in the city, or the council chambers in the city, and they'd have a clipboard. Now the government is summoning 500 to 600 people at once, and there's 10 queues, and it's all quite different now, and big security thing. But yes, that was my experience today with jury duty, and I got dismissed and got out of there and came home. I didn't want to do jury. I've got things. I've got my focuses. I've got particular things I want to do at the moment. Jury duty isn't one of them. So yes, and Midnight Charlie Man. I forgot to say that for Midnight Charlie Man, Patrick, and this was take 2. In fact, this may have turned out better. And so that was my experience today at jury duty. Yes. I have to admit it's kind of interesting there, but at 9 AM it's like, no, I don't want to. Anyway, it was 9 AM this morning, it was raining, and I thought, and geez, I tell you what, the amount of people who were quite gung-ho in there at 9 AM was a bit scary. Like, yeah, I'm ready to start. Oh yes, and, yes. So that was my experience at jury duty. And this blinding light, which was fun to film with. It's fun to film with.